Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today. I'm Nathan Hager, joined by Bloomberg's Kriti Gupta on another morning of geopolitical uncertainty after President Trump left the G7 early. Kriti, this morning we have to focus on defense and oil stocks once again. Good morning.
Good morning, Nathan. Donald Trump, as you said, leaving the G7 early and also talking about getting evacuations in Tehran. These are all comments coming from Truth Social, which, of course, is fanning the flames around those geopolitical tensions. And that's where investors' eyes are this morning, because risk sentiment broadly is fairly low unless you're looking at the defense trade or the oil trade, really echoing what you're seeing in the macro space as well and in oil prices. So I'll just walk you through some of these names here. Lockheed Martin, top of the chart. LMT is your ticker, trading at $472 a share, higher by about 1%. RTX is another. Raytheon is another one that we're keeping an eye on, $148 a share with some heavy volume, higher by about 1% this morning. So we're definitely seeing some defense names as well in terms of the moves higher right alongside the oil story. And again, this is really emphasizing and highlighting what we've seen in the macro and the Brent prices, I should say. Conoco Phillips, COP is your ticker, trading just shy of $96 a share, higher by about 1%. ExxonMobil and Chevron right on their heels. So again, this is really interesting because you're starting to see the international players that have a little bit more exposure to the Middle East and around the world having a sharper reaction. That was the opposite, Nathan, of what we saw in yesterday's session. So ExxonMobil this morning, XOM is your ticker, higher by 0.8%, trading at $113 a share. Chevron as well, $147 a share, higher by 0.7%. And those are the names that are all in the green. Again, really emphasizing that so many of the other names are in the red. It is a risk-off kind of day. A couple of other individual stories to keep an eye on, though, and flagging in that same vein. Eli Lilly is a key piece of it. LLY is your ticker. Some M&A news on that front. A story reported initially by the Financial Times that they are buying Verve Therapeutics for about $1.3 billion in a deal that's talking about a $10.50 value per share. So that's one to keep an eye on as well. Already you're seeing an immediate reaction. Eli Lilly shares, LLY is your ticker, down about 1%, trading at $798 a share. So keep an eye on the biotech space, specifically in pharmaceuticals as a sector. Another individual mover that's very away from the geopolitics is T-Mobile. TMUS is your ticker, down almost 5% this morning, trading at $219 a share. It looks like there's been some reporting that SoftBank is seeking up to a $4.9 billion share sale when it comes to the stock that they hold in T-Mobile. That is simply a big bet on AI, and that seems to be where they're shifting some of their focus. Nevertheless, T-Mobile, TMUS, those shares down almost 5%. But again, those are your individual movers. Nathan, this is amid a broad backdrop of risk-off sentiment.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.